Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Parent and Family Orientation. On behalf of the University of Arizona, I would like to officially welcome you to the Wildcat family. And now that you are a Wildcat family, staying connected to the campus and our community begins today. So we are thrilled that you have decided to watch this recording of the Parent and Family Orientation. I have a lot of information to cover. The session will go the full hour and a half, so I will try my very best to keep your attention. I have to tell you, I promise that come August when we do our welcome events, we will have a little bit more fun. So if you are able to join us in August, I will go over that information a little bit later in our presentation. So my name is Renee Marquez. I am the Assistant Director of Future Wildcat Families, really a department completely dedicated to you, our new incoming families. So by the end of this session, we want you to know how to get help, where to find important resources. We'll cover important information today like billing, meal plans, healthcare. And one more important topic is we are going to cover how to prepare your student this summer to be successful as a Wildcat when they prepare to come for this fall. So, this is our agenda for the next hour and a half. It's big. We're going to touch on all of these subjects. Different from our spring coffee chats, we are going to touch on some of the topics like meal plans or housing. If you need additional information, I will provide the contact information, but you can also go back to the recordings of our spring coffee chats. They're all there on the Future Wildcat Family website, and you can watch those just to get some more information in case you're still looking for answers. So, let's go ahead and get started. I want to start off by just acknowledging that your student is coming to college. Relish that joy. Both you and your student have earned this time. This will be a huge change for your family, but most importantly, we do acknowledge that being here today, you are a part of your student's educational journey, and we are here to work in partnership with you. So today we want to provide you with many resources available that'll help you do your best in being supportive when they do turn to you for guidance. So we'll start by talking about the difference between high school and college. And though there are significant differences that we'll cover, I want to start by saying that the transition is very real. So please give yourself some grace, your students some grace. I know that the University of Arizona as a team is really here to support you through this transition and beyond. You are in a sense of moving in your student's life from manager to coach. And what I mean by that is that your role doesn't disappear, it evolves. Families still remain one of the biggest support systems, but success often comes from learning to lead your students from behind instead of taking over. So you'll want to move forward with encouraging their independence, normalizing mistakes and setbacks, because those things can happen, guiding questions with them instead of solving problems for them when any type of situations come up. But most importantly, let's just celebrate this milestone for the both of you. And just know that support is here for you throughout the year, not just during this onboarding process. And I will give you more information about how to stay connected with the parent and family programs in just a bit. So this summer, encourage your student to think about what they want to accomplish in college, but why those goals matter to them. Students who connect their values to their goals often feel more engaged. They often feel more motivated and resilient during the transition to college. And if they start to feel a little bit of a slump that first semester, remind them their goals and their values, remind them why they chose the University of Arizona and what goal they're looking to get to. Encourage them to build their daily actions this summer. That can look like healthy habits, study routines, self advocacy. Can they speak up for themselves? And what will your family communication look like when they're in school? So will it be weekly texts, weekly phone calls? Will it be daily, once a week? Stuff like that. Go over this summer just to try to prepare for that first semester. So this is a lot of questions. Sometimes families will start to be surprised to learn that colleges can't freely share student information. So I want to go over a few things that will help us with the transition for new students and for transfer students as they transition to the University of Arizona. So I do want to start off by talking about FERPA. FERPA is the Family Educational Right to Privacy Act. So it is just a federal law that states that once your students matriculate into our system, which going into orientation they already have, you are no longer going to have access to their finances, to their grades without your students' permission. So when your students are logged into their Next Step Center, they have an ability to click a button called Guest Access. Once they do that, you will receive an email as their parent or family member to create your own login and password. So this is just a conversation you'll have to have with your student if to make sure that you're granted that access. Especially if you're responsible for their finances, you'll want to be able to have that guest access to see the statement, to be able to pay or anything like that, or to look at their grades at the end of the semester. They can grant you access to both or to either. So just make sure you have that conversation with your students. Talking about academics and the transition over to college. So it's a good idea to remind your student of the many resources, especially those that we'll cover in today's presentation, that do exist to help support them. So it's okay if they start to feel the demands of college, the demands of the academic, because the level of rigor will increase. And it's good to make sure that the earlier in the semester that they get used to using the resources that we have provided to them, like practice going to the individual buildings, speaking to the departments, the better for them when it's urgently needed. So talking about their living environment, regardless of where your student is residing, if they're living at home, commuting to campus every day, it would be great to maybe review the expectations you have of your student, especially if they are commuting. Maybe you still need them to pick up siblings or run errands for you. They will be spending a lot more time on campus with us, so those roles and expectations might change just a little bit. So it's a good idea to have that conversation now. Students who are moving into the dorms or moving close to campus, um, either with a friend or maybe even somebody that they just met, there is a learning curve on getting to learn more about one another, getting to learn sometimes a shared space. Their living situation is going to change, and this is something they'll need to get accustomed to, especially the first few months that they're here. So it's a good idea to start, putting in their minds like sharing a dorm, maybe sharing a bathroom, a community bathroom. What is it going to be like taking a caddy, with all their soaps and stuff to the restrooms if that is their situation. So it's just a good idea to start talking about how things are going to change. So, talking about time management that kind of coincides together, your students are going to be spending less time in the classroom, but more study time is going to be required of them. And we as a community are encouraging them to get involved, stay connected, meet new people. How are they taking all of this with their grades, volunteering, getting a new job, and balancing it all out? So, time management is another great reminder for them. And a lot of times, college is the first time students are responsible for managing their own schedules. So, getting themselves up in the morning, can they do that on their own? They learn very quickly that juggling classes, homework, activities, social life, volunteering, getting a job, and all of that in between can be overwhelming. So something as simple as following, maybe a Google Calendar, a calendar on their phone, or even that old-fashioned planner where they're writing things down. Um, One of the best things of advice that I hear for, new incoming students is if they can calendar their study time, calendar their laundry time, just calendar all their time so that they're not missing anything, getting distracted with, all the fun or outings that they may have here in college. So, budget and financial connections and considerations are a good idea. So, during the summertime before school starts and while your student is here on campus, will they be setting a financial goal for saving money? Will they be expected to pay for their own books, expected to for their own transportation, entertainment? What other essentials during the school year will they be responsible for? So, as a family, discuss who will pay for what. What do you expect out of your student? What do you expect for them to cover through college? Summer teachings can include how to save for money, how to do their own laundry, shopping for groceries, public transportation. Can they change a tire if they are bringing a car to school? Or can they call AAA on their own? Can they cook a nutritious meal for themselves? Schedule doctor's appointments. Can they do that on their own? Do they know what to say or how to guide a doctor? Look at their own insurance card, whatever that might be for them. Going over some of these basic teachings over the summer can really help them to not have that stress later in the year when that time comes. So we kind of touched about family and student communication. So this is key. You want to know it's just a good time to start talking about what is communication going to look like come this fall, just so that nobody's surprised. Maybe you're expecting a daily phone call and they're not, or maybe they're expecting a daily phone call and you kind of want to let them have the independence. I will give you a little bit of advice that when my son started college, he was calling every day and I was loving it. I wanted to hear about his day. But after a few weeks, those daily phone calls started to taper off. And though I missed that, I wanted to hear from his day. I knew that he was learning this independence. He was making friends. He was going to class. And I was happy for that. It was, a little bit hard to let go, but it was great. So we started scheduling Sunday calls, nightly text messages, just having that communication is just good to talk about prior to the start of the semester. Okay, transfer families. Though you've been in college, your students have been in college already, difficulty sometimes is building community, just kind of learning the campus, learning your classrooms, balancing work and family, or even commuting to campus can be a struggle. What is it going to be like? Parking, getting to your classes. So sometimes feeling the pressure of already knowing the college systems in this case, encourage your students to get connected early, learn where their classes are going to be, what buildings, meet with their advisors often, learn campus systems quickly, and just intentionally build those relationships when they come to campus. So we know that when your student is seeking advice or direction, they will most likely turn to you for guidance. So we just want to prepare you for that. So here are some resources that we have available to your students, starting with the Dean of Students office. So the Dean of Students provides many resources to meet the needs of students. They educate and respond to policy issues and situations that do occur here on campus. And they really support overall the health and safety of our campus community. So there are times when a student may walk outside of a policy. Just know that this Dean of Students office is really not there to quickly punish our students right away, but really care for the overall well-being of our students and would rather guide and support them first. Um, Going through policy and our campus resources. So they do have a program called the care team where they are committed to assisting students to overcome some of life's traumas and barriers. So it is a place where students can drop in and at any time during their open hours And it's really for students who need any kind of immediate support. So there are a wide range of concerns that they address, including academic, personal, and procedural. And they do help students understand university processes, policies, and resources. So they do assist in identifying appropriate next steps based on the student's individual needs. They do serve as a connection between the students and key university departments to ensure that the students are referred to the right resources. So, if you do have a concern for your student or any student, maybe you know another student on campus and you have a concern for them, the Dean of Students office does have a program called Concerned About a Student. So, what you can do is go to their website, click on that red button, Concerned About a Student, fill out that form. The Dean of Students office will get in contact you, but most importantly, they'll get in contact with the student. They'll check in on them. Um, so, this is just a really good resource to use if maybe you haven't heard from your student in a couple of weeks and you just want to do like maybe a will check on them. You can reach out to the Dean of Students office here on campus. Their contact information is listed here at the bottom of the slide. And just know that they also have an Instagram account. So if you want to follow them on Instagram and know the type of events that they have to get connected with students, they like to learn more about our students. And one of the events that they do have is Dog Days with the Deans, where they bring in dogs. They also bring in kittens, especially if your student is starting to miss their furry pet from home. They can come to the Dean of Students office and pet some pets. The Disability Resource Center, if your student would like to utilize the Disability Resource Center, there is a way for them to do that. So they go on to the website. Your student will complete the DRC affiliation form online. Then they will schedule to meet with an access consultant. And then through that consultant, they will request accommodations via the DRC portal. And then they'll discuss what accommodations they may need throughout their time here at the University of Arizona. Students are in control of their academic information and disability related requests. So parents can only be involved if their students have written consent with the DRC, and they can do that all through the portal. Accommodations are unique to each student and the disability related barriers to equal access in each course. Um, pre Previous accommodations, you should know this. If your student had previous accommodations through their high school, those aren't transferable to any higher education institution. So we'll need to reestablish that with your student here with the Disability Resource Center. So I do want to go over student success and retention innovation because they have some very important resources for our students. So just want to make sure your student knows about these resources and supports in ways to connect you and your student to campus. So through student success, your students can connect with weekly Wildcat Connections, which is a newsletter for students. They also have 2 to 3 personalized email check-ins per year. So they just check in with each of our students, all new incoming students, whether they're first year or transfer students. They can opt into the weekly Wildcat Connections newsletter for their first year. All students also receive the Bear Down Rundown, which highlights campus events and updates from the university. So if there's ever a time your student reaches out to you and says there's nothing to do, there's nothing going on, they need to be looking at their emails because there's a lot of newsletters and stuff that are able to get them connected as to what's happening on campus. And the sooner they're connected, the better success for them here on campus. So, Student Success also has access to a Launchpad, which is a module in our learning management system that has resources and information available throughout their entire first year. So, starting with the SOS program, and you should know about this too as parents and supporters. So, SOS supports all Arizona community members with a focus on enhancing the student experience. So, when students have a central place or really just a simple way to have questions answered or to seek support, they are more successful. So, the SOS has where your students can text SOS to 70542. You can also utilize this system. And say your student comes to the dorms and they don't know how to do laundry, for example, they don't know how to work the machines, they can text SOS and say, hey, I'm living in San Pedro. I'm not sure how to use these laundry services. Can you help me? Or even if I'm not sure how much laundry soap to put into the washer, they can use that system. They can use SOS. SOS stands for support, outreach, and success. And on the other side of SOS are real humans. So it's not AI, it's not a general response related back. It's a real human answering their text messages around the clock. So if your student can't find their classroom, can't find the building, they can text SOS. It's so easy. They can also use the email services and they can also use the phone. They can give them a call and somebody will answer. So that is a really good resource for you as well. You can also use SOS if you need to for your students. So Think Tank is also in the Student Success District. Think Tank is a centralized academic support on campus. Think Tank offers support in math, in writing, in science, in business, in language, all the academic skills. So they have tutoring. They have a writing center where students can take any type of writing. So not just for their English courses, but like, let's say your student has a resume they want somebody to look over, they can take it over to the writing center. They do have supplemental instruction, exam prep. The Think Tank also provides 4 free one-on-one academic coaching sessions each semester to students with a professional academic coach to offer individualized guidance and support. Services are available online and in person at multiple locations across campus, with the main locations being at the Bartlett Academic Success Center and Bear Down Building. If you are coming to campus this August, we have an opportunity for you to tour that space as well. Many services are peer-led. Student positions include tutors, SI leaders, writing center tutors, math exam prep leaders. This means that real U of A students and real U of A classroom experience are collaborating and helping these students with their coursework across many courses and with their writing. The Think Tank does empower students by providing a positive environment for them to become lifelong learners. So it's not just for this one particular assignment, it's really skills for life. So they provide holistic support to more than 650 students each year. I do want to talk about the SALT Center. It is another resource that is provided by the University of Arizona. The SALT Center with SSRI is an academic support program that provides services to students with learning and attention challenges. SALT stands for the Strategic Alternative Learning Techniques. So, they do provide the holistic support each year for their students through the SALT Center, which is also, they also do have support there in the Bartlett Academic Success Building. So if you want more information about the SALT Center and the support that they offer to students, they do have their contact information at the bottom of the slide there. Okay, so moving on to public safety. So the Office of Public Safety at the University of Arizona is the centralized department responsible for coordinating all of the university's emergency management. So they do have their own University of Arizona Police Department. They have the Threat Assessment Management Team that we like to abbreviate as TAMPT. And so if there's ever any concerning behavior or something that maybe our students will hear. They provide early interventions to prevent violence or any kind of type of violence here on campus. So the Office of Public Safety also acts as a central hub for situational awareness. They also oversee our large scale events, and they do plan emergency readiness for our students and staff. They do have emergency management, which coordinates disaster preparedness, response protocols, and the UA alert emergency notification system. And I will go over that with you right now because you, as parents and family members, are also able to download this app. And it's really cool because it comes right to your phone. So if there's anything happening here on campus, you will receive an alert that says, hey, power lines are down, or maybe a tree is down during our monsoon season, stay away from this area. And it updates you. It lets you know where the area is at. It lets you know when the situation is all clear. So anytime that there's an emergency here on campus, you get an alert. And so all of our students should be downloading this app. But if you also want to stay connected to the campus, you are also able to download it. What's also cool about the app is it will automatically check in while students are working or studying alone, and it is connected to our emergency team. So it can trigger a call to a personal contact. They can contact the safety team. It also connects them to a friend who, let's say your student is studying late at night, time gets away from them at the library and they need to walk across campus to maybe where they live or maybe grab some food, they can have a friend watch them walk across campus and make sure that they got to their destination safely. They can also call University of Arizona Police Department, and they are also happy to help your student get across campus at night if they just don't feel safe, or maybe they're not in the buddy system and walking with somebody. Maybe they're by themselves. So there's a lot of things that our students can do within this app. So there is contact for the Office of Public Safety. I will have you know that they are a great bunch and they love to hear from our parents and families. So if you want to contact them, please feel free to do so. So let's move on to scholarships and financial aid. Before we get deep in the weeds, they have given us this wonderful QR code. Ooh, that's really cool. With links to follow along within the next 6 slides. So if you want to go to this website or scan this QR code with your phone, there are a whole bunch of links within this QR code that you can follow along and use in the future for financial aid. So I'll give you just a quick sec to get that scanned with your phone. These slides are also going to be available where you can click on a link and see all of the slides. So we will start with some good to know options for our parents. These are just good to know prior to the start of school. So if your Wildcat has been offered any grants or scholarships, which is called gift aid or free money, typically no action is needed for them to accept them other than enrolling in full time, which is considered a minimum of 12 units. So do keep in mind that merit tuition scholarships require 30 University of Arizona units per year for the renewal, but 12 is typically the minimum per semester. The financial aid offer is also based on 12 units. So if your student isn't enrolled in less than this, aid could be canceled or reduced depending on how much less under the 12 units that they have. So aid is typically allocated as half for the fall semester and half for the spring semester. So keep in mind if you accept a loan, only half of that will be allocated for the fall. So make sure to accept enough for both semesters. So again, we just want to make sure the aid process goes smoothly and as possible for you. So some items can prevent aid from being released. and can lead to late fees. So that includes not being enrolled in enough units, having UA access to-do list items to complete so your student can review their to-do items in their U Access Student Center. If they haven't completed their final high school transcripts and sent them over with their graduation date, just make sure to do this. This is required for all financial aid. How you can submit your final high school transcripts is by calling up your high school or college that you're in and having them sent to the University of Arizona. Usually your school knows how to do that, but they can send them through DocuSign or electronically, and they can also mail them to the University of Arizona, but they have to be official, which means not opened, so sealed by your school. Um, so completing the other loan steps, which are the master promissory note and the loan entrance counseling, these ensure students understand the terms of their loan and agree to the conditions of the loan. And this is why those monies aren't allocated automatically. So they just want to make sure you understand all the policy. And just so you know, all tuition and fees are due the first day of classes. So we just want to make sure that your student can have their scholarship or aid renewed in the future years. So for scholarship, make sure that your student reads the terms and conditions, which they may state the criteria for the renewal. For the grants, you'll want to renew the FAFSA each year. So each year, your student has to submit a new FAFSA application by the priority filing date, which is March 1st. So FAFSA opens on October 1st each year. So they have October 1st of this year. So they're literally going to start school and then already have to think about applying for financial aid for the next year before March 1st in the spring. So just kind of keep those dates in mind. Students should continue to apply for scholarships on Scholarship Universe throughout their entire time at the University of Arizona. Students can go to scholarshipuniverse.arizona.edu to look. What it does is they create a profile, and Scholarship Universe will look for scholarships on behalf of your student. Then your student can go in and apply for those scholarships. So let's go over what is new for 2026 through 2027. As a result of the One Big Beautiful Act, there are some changes to borrowing limits on the Parent Plus loan. So new parent borrowers may only borrow up to $20,000 annually or $65,000 in aggregate per dependent in the Parent Plus loan. In the past, parents were able to borrow this loan up to the cost of attendance. So what this means is that some parents or family members might need to look at private loans for help for paying the difference, or as an alternative to the Parent Plus loan. There are a list of lenders that the university works with that can be found on the website or in that link of the QR code that we just shared with you. So let's go ahead and do a countdown to fall. So complete all your to-do lists and all the holds in U Access Student Center. Mid-July, the Student and Parent Plus loans will open up for 26-27. Students can begin to accept their federal work study. So if your student was offered that, they can accept that come mid-July. And then in August, fall 2026 disbursements will begin to post to the student's bursar's account in the week of August 17th. So lastly, I just want to share with you the website for scholarships and financial aid, which is an excellent resource to answer any questions that you have, to find the contact information as well, and to learn more about the topics that we spoke about. They are really here to help you. And I will have you know that come this fall, they're going to be slammed. They're always very busy that first week of school. So if you have a question from financial aid that you're, just really hoping to talk to them about, right now is a good time to reach out to them. Their summers are typically a lot slower than the fall. So I spoke about the bursar's office. What is a bursar? What does that mean? So the bursar's office is the central billing on campus, and every student will have a bursar's account linked to them. They cover the tuition and mandatory fees, the housing charges. They also have the Pay One Price program and other department charges that will go to the bursar's office. And we will talk about the Pay One Price program in just a little bit. Financial aid will disperse 10 days prior to the first day of school. And like we mentioned earlier, it will disperse as long as students are enrolled in full-time units and their checklist is completed. So you want to make sure your student is enrolled in direct deposit as well, because if there are any funds left over after covering tuition and fees, the Pay One Price program, housing, whatever it may be, all going on your student's bursar's account, um, that way those funds will be directly deposited into their account instead of a check being mailed to them. And so they can do all of that on the Bursar's website. I do want to go over guest center access with you as well. We kind of touched on it earlier, but just want to reiterate that if you're supporting your student financially, you'll want to be sure that they get enrolled, they get you enrolled in guest center to be able to view the bursar bill, the financial aid awards. You can also access and view their grades at the end of the semester. So the CAT card is the student identification here on campus. So the CAT card will prompt how students will get it. They go into their Next Step Center. It will prompt them to upload a photo of themselves, and they can connect it to their smartphone, their Apple Wallet, their Google Wallet. And just a little bit of advice is that if your student's phone dies, say they're in school in class and their phone is dead and they want to go get some food, they will still be able to use their CAT card on their phone up to 5 hours after their phone has died. So I know it's crazy to think that their student ID, which will access, it serves as a safety mechanism to get into the dorms, or any building on campus. It serves as their, to get food for their meal plans. It also serves sometimes as attendance taking for the professors. They will use their CAT card to take attendance. So I'm just learning this year, but if their phone dies, they can still use their CAT card 5 hours after their phone has died. So that is a little bit of advice. If your student does want a physical CAT card, they can go down to the CAT card office, which is in the student union on the first floor. It will be open for your students. So, will your student be bringing a car to campus? So, if they do bring a car to campus, they will need parking. Parking permits can be purchased through the Parking and Transportation Account portal. The cost for it can be sent to the Bursar's account as well for payment later. Parking options will vary as well as the cost. They do offer garage permits, parking lots in different areas of campus. If you are not sure or your student isn't sure where they should be parking, which part of the campus is closest to where they'll be, they can call Parking and Transportation and they'll be happy to guide them on best practices as far as location and cost and just kind of explain all the different garages and parking spots. You should know that Parking and Transportation does have a motorist assist program. It is free to all of our students and staff here on campus. So if their car needs a jump, maybe they have a flat tire, they lock their keys in their car, anything like that, they can request service and the University of Arizona will come and help them. So this is a good phone number, 520-621-1108 for your students to keep in their phones in case something like this comes up with their cars. They do have temporary vehicle storage parking permit. So if your student lives out of state or out of town and they want to be able to keep their car on campus maybe through the holidays between the fall and spring semester, they can use this service. It will have cameras and locked gates, and they will make sure that your student's car is safe during the time that they're gone. It's also a good feature to use if your student goes study abroad or something like that. We do have a cat tran here on campus that's free to our students. They have different routes, and there's an app that your student can download that shows the routes in real time. It gets students all around campus. Um, they can stay informed with the Translock app or the Cat Tran tracker. So that is also on the website if your student doesn't want to download yet another app. Um, so we will talk about in just a minute the nightcap by Lyft. So it's just a really cool option that's also free for students at nighttime. Public transit is free for our students here in Tucson. This Sunlink will take students from Banner Hospital to campus through Fourth Avenue all the way to downtown. So it's just a good way for your student to be able to get around the campus community. It's free. Everyone just hops on the Sunlink and it just kind of goes around. It's safe. It's air conditioned. It's really a nice ride. Also for you, if you come to campus in August or maybe come back for a family weekend and you choose a hotel that's downtown, you can use the Sunlink for free to come back and forth to campus. We also have the SunTran, which is our bus system around Tucson. That's free for our students as well. So if your student brings a bike to campus, we are a bike-friendly campus. They will want to register through 529. Why they want to do this is because if their bike gets misplaced, maybe stolen, and it's found somewhere else, they are able to get your student's bike back to them. So they'll want to register their bike through parking and transportation. We do have bike lockers and bike valet. Bike lockers are really cool if your student, oh, again, is going to be away from campus and they just want to make sure their bike is locked up. They can rent one of the bike lockers. Bike valet is free for our students. It's right in the heart of campus. What students can do is bring their bikes, park it there in the bike valet that is manned all day. It also has a gate around it. And that's just another way to ensure that they're safe. My advice for your student, if they are bringing a bike to campus, is to bring an inexpensive bike with a very expensive lock. So that would just help them ensure that their bike is safe. We do have bike stations all over campus. If they get a flat tire or they need to service their bike, sometimes we need a little bit of WD-40 or something like that. We have those bike stations available 24/7 for them. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. This is really cool that the University of Arizona does provide for our students our free Lyft code. So your student will, if they are looking to get a ride from 5 p.m. to midnight. So let's say they need a ride to the grocery store or a ride to the Walmart. They can get a Lyft. Lyft will take them from campus to these destinations. It's like a 1 mile radius around campus. And they have free Lyft codes. So it's a free ride for them just to be able to keep safe. If you have questions for parking and transportation, this is their information. I will tell you that mark July 1st on your calendar if you are looking to get a parking pass. That's when the portal will open for students this fall. It's competitive. There is not enough parking on campus for our entire University of Arizona community. So go ahead and mark that date, go onto the website, into the student portal, and that's where your student can get a parking for the fall semester. Excuse me. You might be wondering about healthcare on campus, so let's go over it. Campus Health does provide quality, compassionate, and student-centered care here on campus. A few tips for you, and these are important. This is why I'm saying this, but 96% of students who use Campus Health say that they would recommend Campus Health to a friend. And even better, 97% of students who use Campus Health say they help them remain as a student here at the University of Arizona. So that says a lot about our campus health. They have comprehensive services, many of which you can see listed here on this slide. And if your student needs something that they don't provide, Campus Health will help them get connected with services off campus as well. So, just a few services to highlight. They do x-rays here on campus. They have women's health. If your student wants to establish care with a primary care physician, they have that as well. They have it all. So, let's go ahead and get into it. How your student accesses services here on campus is health insurance is never required for our students, and a student discount rate is always offered. So Campus Health does participate with most providers, with United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, and Blue Cross Blue Shield, like some of those main insurance companies. To see if we are a participant under your health care plan, what you would have to do is contact member services in your healthcare. Say you have Primavera or something like that. You give them our tax ID, which is listed here at the bottom of the screen, and they will let you know whether Campus Health will be covered for your student. Um, we also offer, Campus Health also offers optional healthcare coverage, a health insurance plan for our students that is underwritten through United Healthcare. They also have a bridge program that really helps the cost. So if there's like co-pays or something like that, that bridge program will help bridge that cost for our students. Counseling and Start Psych Services, what we like to call CAPS, is a service that we offer here on campus through Campus Health. So it is really just a comprehensive menu of all mental health services. CAPS counselors create individual care plans with students based on their specific goals and their specific needs. So here are some of the CAPS services just to highlight. There's as needed counseling, which can be scheduled online or by phone. There's care coordination support for students looking for services and resources on and off campus. There's same day crisis support during business hours, as well as 24/7 phone numbers. There's free groups and workshops addressing a range of topics from general connection to specific concerns like depression and anxiety. There is a medication management team with our psychiatric team. There's survivor support for any student who has been impacted by sexual assault, relationship violence, and stalking, or any form of interpersonal violence as well. They also have offer specialized services and assessments for things like ADHD, eating and body image concerns, substance abuse, and couples counseling. Appointments can be scheduled online or by phone, and there are many ways to get started by learning about appointment options on the CAPS appointment page, which is caps.arizona.edu/appointments. And it's there at the bottom of the screen. So we have covered a lot of medical and mental health services within Campus Health. They offer many ways for students to also get connected with supportive communities. And here are just a few of them to highlight. So peer support, including peer counseling with UA trained students, anonymous online support with Wildcats Anonymous, volunteer and internship opportunities. So they have student groups. There are a whole bunch of ways your students can get connected and just used to utilizing their services. So they do games, they have a hideaway, snacks. There's also a room where students can go and pray, just a quiet space by themselves. If your student needs anything like that, they have therapy dogs and kittens. We talked about that a little bit earlier. This is how you can contact Campus Health. They have a website. They also have an Instagram to kind of showcase all of their events they have for our students. Our campus store is our main store here on campus. They proudly stand as a beacon of community engagement as a university owned and operated community center. They oversee the pay one price program for our students. So we kind of mentioned it earlier how it goes onto the bursars account, but pay one price is a textbook and course materials program that automatically gives most main campus undergraduate students access to their required digital textbooks, their courseware, and some printed materials too for flat fee each semester. So that flat fee is $275 per semester. And how it works is it's basically already on your student's account and available for them unless they opt out. So, what students can do the first week of class is decide whether their books cost more than $275 or less. If they cost less, then your student will want to opt out of this program. Otherwise, it's going to be automatically charged to their Bursar account. They do have a technology center. You may be wondering about a laptop for your student. They can go over to the campus store to their technology center, which is downstairs, and they can help them pick out a laptop for school, or they can kind of look at their laptop that they have already. And if your students want to trade it in, they do have a trade up and trade in process to trade in their old laptop for a new laptop, or and they also have student pricing and discounts on Apple products for our students. So that's all really cool there in the campus store. These are all their locations on campus. They also have a lot of school spirit, which is really fun too. So let's get into housing and residential life. So if your student is interested in living on campus and they haven't secured housing already, there are still dorms available. So your students can apply online and they'll be assigned a dorm later this summer. Move-in day at the University of Arizona is one of the biggest and most exciting transition moments for new students and families. Housing organizes move-in over several days in August to help make the process smoother and less stressful. So your student should be checking their University of Arizona email account all throughout the summer, because not only will the Office of Admissions be contacting them, but so will housing. Housing will be asking them which day is best for move-in. So your students will be able to pick which day and time that they want to move in. These dates here are just a little bit of a guide, you know, for our students. They like to get students moved in right away, first year students, and then any returning students, they know the lay of the land. They can check in a little bit later, and that just kind of helps us guide all the traffic and the busyness. There is a QR code on here it's a move-in guide. So if you're looking for any kind of checklists or anything like that, um, it's a good idea to go ahead and scan that QR code. So really quickly before move-in day, students must complete an online pre-arrival check-in through My UA Home before arriving on campus. This is where they do select their move-in day. They review housing policies, they download the unloading parking pass. So that way, if you're bringing your students to campus and you have a car, you'll want to park closer to the dorm than like maybe our garages or our parking spaces. So they can download that parking pass. And then they just will confirm all the important information in that pre-arrival check-in. So you should know that, you know, I just feel the need to go over what families should expect during move-in. So, move-in day for you can feel very emotional. It's exciting, it's overwhelming, it's busy all at one time. Families often experience that Arizona heat. It is different. The Arizona heat in August is very hot. So you'll want to come prepared. Sometimes those little fans, something to put around your neck, water. There will be filling stations on campus, but there's going to be crowded elevators and hallways, lots of walking, emotional goodbyes for your student. So it's just a very energetic atmosphere. And it's really a time where your students are feeling like they want to be independent. This is all very exciting for them. So many families describe it as the moment college finally feels real. So I just want to make sure that you have these helpful tips. Maybe bring a bag to pack things in, some of the swag and information materials. Coordinate with roommates ahead of time to avoid duplicates. Maybe you don't need two refrigerators or something like that. Expect a limited unloading time. So housing does have where you unload all of your student stuff. They have bins there to help. And then you take your car and go park it. And then you can come back and help your student, unpack in their rooms, maybe set up. But that's just another thing families don't expect. You can't just leave your car parked right there. You have to go park it at the garage. Just something to keep in mind. So there are additional services that housing does provide from home to room service, which just means that um, it'll make it a little bit easier, especially for out-of-state and first-year students. The home to room service means that you can ship your boxes and have them delivered to your room. A microwave and fridge rental helps keep you from traveling with it. You can just rent it and then give it back to them at the end of the year. There's also water cooler service, but please know that there are filling stations and ice in all the dorms. So you don't have to pay for this service, but just know that it's there as an option. They do have laundry and dry cleaning. Again, there's washers and dryers in all of the dorms. Um, and then there's linen packages. So all of the dorms have twin extra long. So if you don't want to bring sheets, you can order the linens and they'll have it in the dorms already ready for your student when they move in. Also, renter's insurance. Housing strongly recommends renter's insurance because the university does not cover personal belongings. So, if they're stolen or damaged in any kind of situation, families can use their existing homeowner's insurance, or they can purchase student renter's insurance through recommended providers. And that is all on their website. This is how you can contact them should you need to. They're very good at getting back to you if you have any questions. And they are more than happy to speak to you in regards to your student. Okay, talking about housing, lead us right into meal plans. So now that we have that housing squared away, let's cover food. So, meal plans is recommended for all incoming students so that they have security and confidence knowing that they can eat when they are hungry. All first year students living on campus and all Honors Village residents are required to have a swipe plan. And we'll go over what a swipe plan is in just a second. The 9 swipe plan is our most popular. Students can always upgrade depending on how often they need to eat. But once they select a meal plan, it is set for the entire year. So there is a small grace period where students can downgrade at the start of the semester if they feel like it's too much food. Um, please select, uh, let's see, the selection option is now open. So it opened June 1st and it's open through July 22nd. So if students did not pick a meal plan by July 22nd, it's going to default to the 12 swipe meal plan for them. Students can always upgrade if they need to. If it's not enough food, they can always upgrade their plan throughout the semester as well. Just know that FERPA regulations prevent the meal plan office from sharing information with their parents and guardians. How you can get around that is just make sure if you call, your student is present. If you email, make sure that their student is copied on the email. Or if you come in person, they're happy to see you. They have a beautiful office here on campus as well. So there are many parts to a meal plan. Please don't panic when you see this. We can go ahead and break it down. Just know students do learn this, okay? They learn that there's different buckets of money, and they learn how to use their swipe plan. So just so I can explain it to you. So there's different swipes. Swipes are a value of $11.50 at all retail locations on campus. We are a cashless campus, so using their CAT card or even a debit or credit card is what is accepted all throughout campus. So swipes are loaded monthly and they must be used within the month that they are issued. Swipes don't roll over to the next month. So if your student has maybe 5 swipes left at the end of the month, they can go to the grocery store and use the 5 swipes, $11.50, for all their groceries and take it to their dorms or to their apartments. Or even take it home if they have a meal plan as a commuter. So the swipes are best used at the all-you-can-eat locations. That's how they can get the most bang for their buck. Dining dollars also come with the meal plan. Excuse me. The dining dollars will help cover the swipes. So let's say your student buys a bagel and a bagel for $5, a coffee for $3, and it costs $8. Well, they don't want to use an 11.50 swipe on it. They'll want to use their dining dollars so that it doesn't use up a swipe. Or it could do the opposite. If they go over, so let's say they get groceries and they want to use 3 swipes, and it costs $45, they can use 3 swipes plus the dining dollar so that they don't waste another swipe. Um, that's how they can use those dining dollars. Guest meals are added to the accounts as well. This is when you, as parents and family members, can come and visit with your student. You can try the dining halls with your student's meal plan. This is how much they cost. These are the annual costs. So if your student's going to do the 9 swipes, it's $4,000 for both fall and spring semesters. And that includes your dining dollars and your 4 guest meal plans. And like I said, they can move up however often they eat, or they can move it down, especially if your student is planning on cooking for themselves. They'll want to get a lower meal plan. These are some good dates to mark on your calendars. So like I said, the meal plan is open now. Your student can go in and decide on one. It does close on July 22nd. If they don't pick one, they will get the defaulted meal plan. The bursar billing begins July 22nd, and so that meal plan will be applied to the bursar's account. The swipes start on August 17th. So if your student is here prior to August 17th, they can use their dining dollars instead of the swipes. And they can also purchase a block 10 plan to supplement for those swipes. So that is just like a block of swipes, a block of 10 swipes that they can use prior to August 17th. The last day for downgrades is going to be September 6th, 2026. And then if your student is going to be in Greek life and they are offered a meal plan, they have until September 20th to change that. And then just know that there are no swipes during finals week. They can use their dining dollars again. And then the last day for meal plans is September 17th. So you'll want to make sure that any swipes that are remaining for the month of December are used prior to December 17th. They do have an app if students are tracking, their diets and they need to know where they can go eat. They can download this app, especially if they have any allergies. This is a good app for them to have. I hate to bring this up because, we love for students to get out of their dorms, get out of maybe being in the library all day to go kind of mingle with other students. But this option through Grubhub is available with their meal plan as well. And what it is good for is if your student is studying and they can't take a break, they can have food delivered to them in their dorm, in the library, wherever they may be. The food will come straight to them. So if you do have a concern of your student that hasn't left their dorms, you may want to do like a little check on them just to make sure that maybe they're full of anxiety or something like that, something that we can come help them. But just know that this is a service for our students. And an option for you to download the dining guide if you'd like some more information about maybe where students can eat on campus. They do have a newsletter. If you want to sign up for the newsletter and be a part of that, you can. Go ahead and scan that QR code and get part of their meal plan newsletter. So we are almost done, but I do want to go over Zona Zoo because I get a lot of questions about this in years past. So Purchases are on sale now. Students can purchase the Zona Zoo passes on the website. All U of A students will receive access to all sports for free except for basketball and football games. If your student really wants to go to football but has no interest in basketball, they'll want to purchase the Blue Pass. That gives them access to all of the home games. If they do like both sports, and they want to purchase the Zona Zoo for both, they can go to both football and basketball with the Red Pass, to all of the home games with the Red Pass. So there's a QR code that links your student, right to the Zona Zoo Pass. So this is the fun that we'll be having on campus in August. If you are able to join us, Family Quest are events that are provided to our parents and supporters on the University of Arizona campus. So if you are maybe moving in your student during that first week prior to the first day of class, maybe you're moving them to the dorms on campus, or even going to be on campus for that day as a commuter, you are invited to join us at our events. So we are in partnership with Destination Arizona, which is the in-person events for your student, and Parent and Family Programs, who will be your support system after your student has onboarded and started here in the fall. So Tuesday and Wednesday, August 18th and 19th, we will host a mix, mingle, and explore in the Student Success District. This is basically an open house. Any last minute questions you have for University of Arizona staff, we will be there to greet you and welcome you, but we'll also have tours of the Student Success District. So you're able to see all the awesome resources that the University of Arizona provides for our students. I have to tell you, sometimes these tours make me want to go back to school. They are so cool. We'll have a resource fair on August 20th from 10 to 3 in Bear Down Gym. Please come with your student. There will be lots of swag handed out, information materials. Um, Everyone across campus will be there. So you'll be able to, this is where your bag will come in handy. On Friday, August 21st, very popular, we will have the family conference. This is where you, as parents and family members, will receive a warm welcome from our campus leadership. You will have true conference style sessions available to you from 10 a.m. to 2. And there'll be all these different topics: how to lead from behind. If your student needs additional support, how are you going to be there for them? The fine art of letting go. All these topics. There will be a safety seminar will be available to you throughout the day. And you can pick and choose your schedule of how you want it to go that day. That night, we, in combination with Parent and Family Programs, we will host the Proud Parent Social at the beautiful Arizona Sands Club that overlooks the Arizona Stadium. They will have light refreshments. The bar will be open. There'll be entertainment for you to enjoy. Really a time for you all to meet each other as new college parents. This is how you will want to stay connected with Parent and Family Programs. So they offer a newsletter, they offer communications, they offer events for you all throughout the 4 years while your student is here. Future Families has always been a support system as your student onboards, but I want to give you this warm handoff over to Parent and Family Programs because they have all the information you'll need to want to stay connected. Not only do they have a newsletter where you can decide how often you want to hear from the University of Arizona, you can choose once a week, once a month, or how often you want to hear from us through that newsletter. You can also sign into the newsletter. It kind of serves as like social media where you can go and see what's going on, what's happening on campus. But also, what's really cool about this setup, it's called the Arizona Experience, is that if there's ever an emergency that happens on campus and we need to get a hold of you or let you know what is going on campus, we can access direct emails. So you'll want to get your email connected to this system just in the event of an emergency. It also connects you to your student, so it's really cool. Parent and Family Programs does host family weekends, so I invite you to save the date, October 2nd through the 1st. If you go to this website, familyweekend.arizona.edu, there'll be a calendar tab and it'll show you all the events that will be happening that week. If you go there now, there may not be a whole lot going on. They're still in the process of planning that weekend. But if you're a football fan, they will have a football game for sure. They'll also have a tailgate where all of you are invited. So you can bring siblings, grandparents, anybody you would like to come visit the university. Studies show that 6 to 8 weeks after the start of school, students start to get homesick. So we invite you to come and visit your student and have the chance to feel that University of Arizona Wildcat spirit. Future Wildcat Families will continue to be a support for you. So you can contact me, futurefamily@arizona.edu. We have a website, and our phone number is here as well. I do want to introduce you to the Family Transition Guide. This is a tangible piece. I know I talked throughout this entire parent and family orientation, but if you want something without having to go through this video again, this transition guide has everything you need to know for this first year. And this is intended for you. So please use this guide as a resource as your student evolves here at the University of Arizona. Insight sessions are offered to you this summer with you and your student. They're informational sessions that are hosted by our academic colleges and campus departments. It's really an inside look at campus programs, student success resources, campus services, and more. So I do see I have a typo here on the slide. Apologies for that. But if you go to this website, you will see it's a beautiful website, very organized, and you can start plotting the dates to the ones that you're interested in. So if your student is going to Eller or nursing or something like that, they have sessions where you can connect directly with the college. So these are very important for this summer. So they start in July. So just want to go over your homework this summer. Um, Review the transition guide. It is a really good idea to just get connected. There's videos within that transition guide. Really connects you to campus. Attend any insight sessions of your interest. Just want to remind you to set that communication plan with your student. What is that fall semester and spring semester going to look like with your student's first year in college? Chat expectations for finances and time at home with your student, just so that there's no surprises. Will they be able to visit you during Thanksgiving? Can you all afford that? Will you be visiting them at all? It's just good to keep that communication open. And most important, celebrate their success. This is a great important time for you and your family, and just really celebrate them as they start their college journey. As we conclude today's parent and family orientation, I just want to sincerely thank you for your time, for your engagement, and most importantly, your partnership. We do recognize that this transition to college is not only a significant milestone for your student, but really for your entire family. Your encouragement, your support, your belief in your student play an important role in their success and sense of belonging here at the University of Arizona. So just know that as your student begins this new chapter, we encourage you to continue supporting them, helping them, connecting them, reminding them of their values, connect them to their goals, empower them to make decisions, and just remind them that growth often comes through new experiences and new challenges. This is how they're going to grow. Know that we are committed to partnering with you throughout your student's journey. And while your student is taking the lead in their college experience, just please know that you will always remain an important part of their support system, an important part of the Wildcat community. So thank you again. Thank you for joining me today in this session, and really for trusting the University of Arizona with your student's educational journey. I am wishing you a wonderful summer, and please reach out should you have any questions moving forward. And I really hope to see you all in August, if not, maybe back for family weekend. Thank you so much.